Trotzdem, er spielt in 2019 bereits sein 5. PDC-Jahr, ein zweimaliger WM-Teilnehmer. Die Rede ist von Super Ted, Ted Evetts. Super Ted tritt an gegen einen Mann, der sich 2018 die Tourcard für 2 Jahre sichern konnte. Einer aus den Top 100 als Nummer 95 der Welt. Er kommt aus Doncaster, Mark Wilson.
Second match of the day here at the German Darts Grand Prix. We've just seen a win for a man who's thrown 2 9-darters this year, Richie Evetts. We're about to see another. Ted Evetts has thrown a brace of 9-darters this year as well, and the 21-year-old from Warwickshire is about to make his first European Tour, his second European Tour appearance of the year. Second round appearance in Leverkusen at the very start of 2019 at the European Darts Open, where he lost to Dave Chisnell. And good to see him back on the European stage once again. Good to see Mark Wilson back on the European stage as well. He made 3 appearances in 2018, beaten in the first round in each and every one of those, so perhaps something to address here in this one. Rob Malarkey in the chair once again, and alongside me this time, welcome to Munich, Paul Nicholson.
My first time in Munich, Rob. Happy to be here.
Willkommen.
What a place this is. Absolutely sensational for darts. And those guys upstairs in the practice room have got no excuse, because this place is wonderful, or as they say in this part of the world, wunderbar. It'll be a good game, this, because we expect from Ted Evetts, but the way that Mark Wilson played in qualifying, we may have to expect again from him. So can he get that first win on the Euro Tour? It's not going to be easy, but Ted Evetts has got the darts.
First leg, Ted to throw first. Game on.
Well, Evetts will start this match as favourite. He is the man in form, I suppose. He was a semi-finalist in last year's World Youth Championship, and we've seen enough of him to suggest that he
100.
Could well be a main player for many years to come.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And in the back of his mind, he's probably thinking, I'm really happy to be here. This is where I want to be.
40.
But there's a development tour on this weekend as well. And he's top of that order of merit.
Yeah.
So that could be under threat over the course of the next 48 hours. Now, knowing Ted as I do, if it doesn't go to plan today, the likelihood is he'd probably go to that tomorrow.
96.
Yeah, he's top of the bill on the development tour right now. 2 titles to his name already this year. He's got 4,150 quid to his name. He's secured his tour card for this year, or for the next 2 years I should say, this year and next, via both the development tour and the challenge tour last year as well, so certainly had his options, didn't he?
Well, that was the thing about last year for Ted. He did have a lot of options. He was doing what we call a Dimitri, because he was just going everywhere and he had so many options. And that's the thing for young players now, they have these options. Now Jeffrey Desvan is a great example of this,
100.
because he didn't qualify for this, but he's at the development tour, so they've always got somewhere to go, providing that you're under that age mark.
Yeah, it's a balancing act. I mean, we've talked about this before. It's a balancing act that these young players, or the successful young players, have to do, because
121.
Ted is obviously still 21 years old, so he has the age range to still apply or still to play on the development tour. He's
85.
obviously graduated from the challenge tour now.
85.
He's not under any pressure here, so you can't think he's going to go for the bullseye. So probably a treble 18 now. And a 3 single shot set up.
53.
And that's fine.
Yeah, so Evetts on course for a hold of throw. Mark Wilson looking at 2-3-5.
100.
Yeah, Mark's just got to stay straight a bit more. He's had a few darts just going left and right, and he just needs to find that line first. And when he does that, he will settle down. But settle down, Ted Evetts has done. That's a steady 16-dart start for Ted, who we will see in Saarbrücken next week. And we will not see him in Graz or Sindelfingen, because now it's
55.
4 straight weeks on the Euro Tour, so strap in everybody. Your membership for PDC.tv is going to get used a lot in the next month.
Busy, busy, busy. As we said at the outset, a very important time of the year, this. on the PDC calendar. Midweek Pro Tours as well.
100.
Yeah, Mark's wearing a very fetching light blue today. I know you were having a chat with him before today. You're both from the same area of the country.
We are, both from Doncaster, both born in the same hospital, although there's a few years between us, in his favour, might I add.
I met Mark a few years ago, actually, when I was doing a bit of a tour on the country, just trying to promote darts a bit, and Mark was one of the players that I met. And here goes Ted for the first 180.
140.
Might be lucky there, because if he'd have hit that dart, he might have found all three go on the floor. But I met Mark in Lincoln, beautiful place.
Well, yeah, he lives there.
60.
Yeah, and he gave me a wonderful gift. He gave me a Lincolnshire dartboard, which I still have to this day. One of my collectible dartboards that I have, and it's all black. Doesn't have any trebles on it. There's
Yeah, there's great variations on that, isn't there? You know, wherever you travel, or little quirks of
100. Ted, you require 81.
of what we know as the traditional dartboard that we can see on stage right now.
yeah, traditional match play dartboard, as Jim Bowen used to call it. On bullseye, double 12 for Ted. 2 6s, and again he's under no pressure.
69.
Yeah, and it's just as well he has got this cushion, because Mark Wilson can chip away at this again. And I tell you what, Evetts won't want to mess about on his next visit, because if Wilson posts something significant here,
100.
Well,
Ted,
okay.
you require 12.
I think that's just given Evetts another helping hand.
That's a good guide. Just under that to the left.
Double 3 for Evetts for a 2-0 lead.
6.
Not there yet.
Mark, you require 145.
And this will start to be a little bit of a concern for Evetts now. OK, it's the prospect of a break of throw. And OK, Wilson won't check out this time.
100.
It's not good at the start of
Ted,
a
you
match
require
to be
6.
missing doubles like this. We saw what happened to Daryl Gurney on Thursday in the Premier League. It didn't help his confidence later in the match. But double 3.
That's blocked a lot of the bed now, hasn't it? And Evetts has had to take a huge step over to the right-hand side to find a way through.
Game shot the second leg.
Oh, his
Ted
face
Evetts.
tells a
Sit over the
That was a
top.
picture.
Felt like 10-2 for
That
first.
tells a
Game
story.
on.
It really does, because that dart was very tricky, and gets that and just denies Mark Wilson that opportunity at the 45.
Yeah, just dodged a little bit of a bullet there, I think, Ted Evetts. Yeah, the top 2 players from
58.
the 2018 Challenge Tour Order of Merit, excluding those who'd already secured a tour card via another way and means, were Evetts and Michael Barnard.
84.
And Evetts also finished 3rd on last year's development tour as well, on the Order of Merit there, after a 5-4 win over Christian Bunce in the final of event 20. So that was enough to give him a 3rd development tour title of last year. Made a semi-final,
100.
a couple of quarter-finals as well. He was really strong last year on that. And he's reaping the rewards now.
Yeah, there are people out there who
59.
think that some of these, big hitting young stars, if they've got a tour card, then they shouldn't really be going for the Dev Tour. They shouldn't be allowed to do it because they're already developed. That's not for us to say, really.
No, I disagree. I think if you're eligible, then, as you say, if
93.
suddenly things start to go wrong, with all due respect, drop down a level. We've just seen our first glimpse of the infamous, the notorious, and the ubiquitous
The pork snack.
pork sword.
95.
We'll talk a little bit more about that in detail later. It's very important. It's a significant cultural aspect of the weekend here. I mean, look at that. I mean, let's just let the pictures do the talking, actually.
I've been doing a bit of cooking in my time off this year, and I haven't tried to make one of those.
134.
How many calories is in that, though?
Thousands. Just going back to that argument though about the development tour, if the Evetts suddenly were, struggling for points for ranking money
99.
on the Pro
Ted,
Tour
you
circuit,
require 116.
it's a good way maybe of just dropping down a level and just, keep the prize money ticking over, not as to great an extent as it would be, and just to get the match confidence going again. I don't see the problem.
It's it's a different thing with the Dev Tour these days. It used to be, the heavy hitters would win every week. But nowadays there are so many good young players.
56.
It's almost
Mark,
a
you
pro
require
tour of its own.
164.
Well, I say drop down a level, but it's like it's not a drop down at all.
Well, Mark Wilson dropped down into the 60 there with dart 2, but
Ted, you
needed
require
another one at least
60.
double 12. And Ted Evetts is getting to the double a lot quicker than Mark. And to be halfway to the tally mark that he wants, Ted needs tops, and that's
Game
better.
shot in the third
A lot more
leg.
polished.
Ted Evetts falls like Mark to throw
May not be the
first.
best leg of his contest so far, but that was very consistent all the way through that leg. But it was consistency that he showed in qualifying.
54.
Didn't lose any more than 4 legs in a match. He beat Aidy Gray with a 95 average, John Worsley with a 98 average, and Mickey Mansell with a 93. So that's pretty consistent stuff, and that's what we expect from Ted. We've seen enough of him in the last 3 years. There is, of course, that famous story of when he went to Hildesheim and was eliminated on the Saturday and tried to get all the way back to the UK to play in the World Youth Championships and made it by 3 minutes, I think.
81.
He makes a very good chocolate truffle, does Ted Evetts. He prides himself on them. So he makes these little chocolate ganache balls and covers them in different sweets and coatings. He's a very good cook.
140.
Well, there's 3 words I never thought I'd hear in commentary this weekend. Chocolate Grenache balls. Used to be a chef, didn't he?
Yep. Yeah, it's one of
60.
our top topics of conversation. If he goes quite far in his career, I think a celebrity cook-off with him on would do very good for darts. I think Bernd Reut was a chef, wasn't he? The German player?
I'd have to take your word for that, Paul.
59.
Well, Mark Wilson in qualifying, we talked about Ted's. Mark Wilson was excellent. He beat Thornton with a 96 average, and apparently,
98.
according to Mark, Thornton missed 4 match darts, so he took his opportunity there. But after that, he beat Ryan Meikle with 102 average, and that's probably the best stats I've seen from Mark Wilson since he got his tour card.
It's been a really tough year so far, I think, 2019 for Wilson, as Evetts looks at a maximum here.
140.
Because so far this year, he's suffered 11 out of 12 first-round defeats on the Pro Tour. He's earned, what, 500 quid on that?
140.
Plus whatever he makes here. He's guaranteed £1,000
102.
here, so this is a big payday when you put it into perspective for him. He has also qualified for the tournament in Graz that is coming up in a couple of weeks as well. So we will see him again on the Euro Tour fairly soon.
And Ted was going for treble 14 there for tops. And on 68, I think treble 14 would be the shot for Simon Whitlock, but
68.
this ain't no wizard game. This is Wilson going for the 60, gets that, double 4. First shot at a double in this match in the 4th leg,
Game
and he
shot
only
in the
needs 1
4th
dart.
leg. Mark
That's a
Wilson.
great
5th leg
conversion.
10-2 for first. Game on.
Needed that.
There's a bit of a rivalry between
100.
the Lincolnshire players and the Yorkshire players. There's a bit of camaraderie there, but there's a sneaky little rivalry. He's very pally with Dave Ladley, is Mark.
45.
He's got that grey area in that neck of the woods. I mean,
You're
Mark
talking about
himself,
Scunthorpe?
yeah, lives near Brigg, near Scunthorpe, and now Scunthorpe, Gainsborough area. It's all of it. Being from that area, I understand it. I can't really explain it.
140.
Yeah, there's been great players who have
You
come
don't need peacekeepers just yet, but you know what I mean.
There's no DMZ between the two.
59.
There's great players who come from Lincolnshire in the past. I mentioned before someone called Dean Baker. I was very impressed with him when I was growing up. Mick Capewell, of course, played for England. Great players. And these days they've got a very strong county side.
57.
But Yorkshire, well, we could be here all day talking about Yorkshire. But it's Warwickshire that Ted is from, and they're strong as well.
140.
It's a hotbed for darts at the minute because Ted's mate, Dawson Marshall, has moved there. Kevin Painter, of course, lives in Rugby. Great players have played for Warwickshire in the past. Steve Beaton, Andy Smith. But it's the future we're talking about now. The future's looking very bright for Ted.
Yeah, wonderful setup play by Ted Evetts once again. Potential 13 darter here for a 4-1 lead.
It's a good sign for Ted Evetts that he's playing this well, because if he does
Ted
win this match,
24.
he's going to have to, because he played Johnny Clayton, who was having a great season.
Yeah, Johnny's in fine fettle on the Pro
Game
Tour,
shot in the 5th leg. Ted Evetts. 6th leg mark to throw first. Game on.
making big strides up the Pro Tour Order of Merit as well. This is looking very comfortable so far for Ted Evetts. We talked about Wilson's struggles on the Pro Tour this year. Pretty much the same story last year as well. 14 out of 22 first round defeats on the Players' Championship circuit. And in fact, I think I'm right in saying that his maximum payday remains £1,000. Evetts is not showing any sign of letting up here.
No, he is not. I think Ted's having a very good time up there. I'm constantly looking at his face when he's behind Mark, and he's just cracking out a little smile. It's almost like he knows he's going to win this game, and he's going to be back tomorrow in this amazing atmosphere.
100.
And the action of Evetts, I've been studying it for a good 2.5 years, and he has had the tendency sometimes to rush the odd dart. But today his rhythm has been as good as I've ever seen. He's almost like the right-handed Wadey. That prod of the dart forward, back and through, and a lovely extension of the right arm. It's flawless.
And the other thing that's stood out for me is he had those problems with the finishing double three that leg earlier on. Got that out of his system and really just put it well and truly behind him. I thought there were instances today with Evetts in the first match where he just maybe dwelt on things a little bit too much, but not with Evetts here.
He's in. Is the ball? Oh, special! Mark Wilson. Fantastic lifeline shot to keep himself in the match. Beautiful respect from the players. Very much similar to what we saw between Gezi Price and Michael Smith on Thursday at the Premier League, which was great to see. But that was a great shot from Mark Wilson.
Yeah, there's been a lot of talk in the Premier League football lately about cojones, so I think Mark Wilson demonstrated that in abundance there. My word, 161.
98.
Just when we were singing the praises of Ted Evetts, that's not write Mark Wilson off just yet.
Well, in the week of sport that we've had, you cannot possibly write anybody off, especially after that Man City Tottenham game. We have seen that in darting terms as well, but we don't have VAR in darts yet. I can't imagine a day when we'd have VAR. Imagine Twitter. If darts got VAR, it would explode.
That's been the trouble with Wilson as well today, just this inconsistency, just when it looks as though he might be rediscovering his touch, the occasional bad visit as we saw there. But, you know, not out of this, but still needs to find the break to get back on terms.
In the season that Mark's having right now, that 161 shot on its own, even if he doesn't win this game,
It might
that
just
will
give him something to work with, yeah.
Give him something to base himself on. You need a shot to remember, and that was a shot to remember.
I'll tell you what, though, I mean, he speaks very openly, very philosophically about the troubles he's had this year so far. He's happy to admit that it's not working out for him, but you've got to admire his attitude,
60,
and his spirit and his character. I really do.
Good guy to be around.
Yeah,
he's very friendly with a lot of the guys in the practice room. He's having a lovely chat with Magnus Karras upstairs. Really looking forward to watching Magnus later on this afternoon when he plays Keegan Brown. That'll be a great match.
Well, there's many
131
on the agenda today. Durrant against Hughes, Bunting against Norris, and a repeat of that Lakeside final from a few years ago.
Oh, Hughes against Durrant has got a headline.
Ted, you require 32.
Oh, she's wearing a sneaky hat. It's a bit warm for that hat. Double 16. Evetts looking at the lower section of that double 16 now. Just snuck it into the right. And he's within one. And he says to himself and his entourage, one more.
54.
Ordinarily, this is the hardest one to win.
Yeah, finish line favour, I think they call it. But
140.
yeah, that 54 for Wilson has been punished by Evetts, and he's got the upper hand already, perhaps.
100.
I forget which Brownlee brother it was that stuttered at the finish.
That would have been Johnny, I think.
Johnny. You don't really want to go to the finish line like Johnny, but you want to have a brother like Alistair, isn't it?
I might be wrong with that, actually.
140.
So Mark's got to finish like Alistair, and Ted does not want to finish like.
You get the idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should be full of energy
41.
at this point in the game if you're Ted Evetts, because if you're youthful and you play a lot of darts and you practice properly, you should have lots in the tank. It's not a particularly hard thing to do to play one game in a day.
100.
It's a lot different when you come to Easter Monday and you've got to play potentially 4 of them. It's a whole different kettle of fish.
Well,
101.
10 points.
You require 121.
11 points and a bit now actually in the averages, and I think that's just told over the course of this match so far, and it may well be coming to an end here for Mark Wilson. 96 away, misses the treble 20 that would have left 18s.
65.
So Evetts will return looking at 56.
Yeah, I don't mind that bull shot on 1-2-1 in that spot. I think when your opponent is on a finish, I'm not sure it's the right play, but at that spot I think that's the right thing to do.
Yeah, because if you hit it, then you get the 13s for the 16s. So
Absolutely.
yeah, I think you've got options there as well on the back of that. But 56 is a more orthodox route here for Ted Evetts. He's looking at tops, and he's got 2 darts in his hand for a 6-2 win and a place in the second round of the German Darts Grand Prix. And it's Ted Evetts, the World Youth semi-finalist from last year, and a man who's made giant strides over the last 12 months, who goes through to the Sunday action here, where he will face last year's winner in Austria, Johnny Clayton. Wilson, well, that's very much in keeping with his season so far, and we hope he can pick himself up, but we will see him again on the European
Ted
Tour very
Evetts
soon indeed, and we'll also see very soon Aaron Monk and Marco Puls. They're on stage next, day 1 here of the German Darts Grand Prix.
Und damit trifft er morgen dann in der zweiten Turnierrunde auf die Nummer 9 der Setzliste, auf Johnny Clayton. So, dann hören wir mal rein, ob er zufrieden war. Ted, congratulations. Happy with your game?
Yeah, it was okay. It was okay. The scoring, I was happy with the scoring. Second leg, not so much the doubles, because that was going all around the board after a good scoring leg. But all in all, it felt quite good. Not my best game by a mile, but yeah, no, I enjoyed it.
What's the plan for a European Tour weekend? Is it just reaching the last session, the last day?
Well, I've never made the last session yet, so I'm still trying to get over that line. But no, to be honest, the aim is qualify for as many as I can, and then that first game I think it's a big game. Just for the fact is they're so big on the order of merit, so it just pushes you that extra bit further on the rankings. So yeah, I'm happy with what I've done now. And
Johnny Clayton is next?
Yeah, brilliant player. I think I'm not sure how many times I've played him. I know I've played him definitely once, but that was a couple of years back. So yeah, we'll see what happens tomorrow.
See you there. Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Ted Evetts, der sagt jetzt vor, dass er diese erste Runde überstanden hat. Das ist erst einmal klar das Ziel, wenn du dich qualifiziert hast. Er will sich für möglichst viele European